Making huge blockbuster movies is extremely hard. Producers have to put together a rockstar team of actors, editors, and directors in order to come up with spectacular screenplays that can glue all of us movie fans to the screen. And because of that, most of these movies come with a hefty price tag attached to them. Now, if you are curious to know what are the most expensive movies ever made, stay tuned, because that's exactly what we are going to talk about in this video. You are watching the top 10 most expensive movies ever made, and in this video, I'm going to show you what are the top 10 most expensive movies ever made, how much did they cost, and also what made them so expensive. But before we begin, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. We here at Top 10 Luxury Edition are always uploading videos for you to take a sneak peek into the world of luxury. And if you like this type of content, also hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And without further ado, here are the top 10 most expensive movies ever made. Number 10. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Released in 2009, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince is the sixth movie of the Harry Potter series, and the most successful fantasy novel of all time. In this film, we follow Harry Potter through his 6th year in the Hogwarts School of Wizardry, and as you would expect from any Harry Potter movie, it is full of crazy visual effects, such as the insane firestorm scene, and also the Harry Potter and Draco Malfoy face-off. Obviously, these visual effects are not easy to make, and some of the best designers in the world spent 8 months crafting and perfecting them. What's more, the cast starred in the movie is impressive, and it includes Hollywood stars like Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson. All in all, the movie came out at a whopping price tag of $265 million. But it was more than worth it, since Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince was a huge box office hit, making more than $100 million on its opening day, close to $1 billion in worldwide ticket sales, and earning the praise and respect of moviegoers from all over the world. Number 9. Solo: A Star Wars Story. Produced by Walt Disney Studios and released in 2019, Solo: A Star Wars Story is a spin-off movie of the famous Star Wars franchise, one of the biggest and most successful movie franchises of all time. In this film, we follow Han Solo and Chewbacca in their crazy adventures. To be fair, this movie does not have the world-class cast of most extremely expensive movies, and initially, it was budgeted at less than $200 million. But because of several problems during the production phase of the film, massive cost and time overruns ensued. For instance, the 2 original directors were fired in the middle of the filming phase because people were saying that they were turning the movie into a comedy film, and so everything had to be reshot. What's more, because of the time overruns, some actors were unable to participate in the reshoots because of time conflicts, and so they had to bring even more actors into the production. All in all, the film ended up costing more than $270 million, and unfortunately it was a complete flop, making less than $400 million in worldwide ticket sales. In fact, Disney was so disappointed with the results that it decided to stop filming Star Wars spin-offs and focus its efforts on other successful productions. Number 8. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Released in 2019, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker is the 9th film of the famous Star Wars series, and it had one of the best and most expensive cast and production crew ever featured in a Star Wars movie. With world-class producers like J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, 2 of the best film producers in the movie industry today, and also Hollywood stars like Mark Hamill being featured. As you can see, on paper, it had everything to be a major box office hit. But the sad reality is that the movie fell short of expectations, with critics and fans alike criticizing it. For instance, critics said that the plot lacked creativity and was way too predictable, not even comparable to other films of the series. While fans said that this movie was only made to milk money from Star Wars fans and drive the franchise to extinction in the process. All in all, the movie cost more than $275 million to be produced, and it made little more than $1 billion in ticket sales. While that may seem like a lot of money, if you compare it with all the other Star Wars movies that made a lot more with way lower budgets, you will see why those involved were not impressed by those numbers. Number 7. Pirates of the Caribbean: At World's End. Released in 2007, The Pirates of the Caribbean: At World's End is the 3rd movie of the Pirates of the Caribbean series. In case you don't know, the Pirates of the Caribbean series tells the tales and adventures of Captain Jack Sparrow, an extremely witty pirate. And in this movie, we follow the crew of the Black Pearl, a group of pirates that have Jack Sparrow as a leader as they try to save him from captivity. Now, make no mistake, the cast for this movie features some of the most talented actors in Hollywood today, such as Johnny Depp, Orlando Bloom, and Keira Knightley. And it is only fair that it cost a lot of money to be produced, a whopping $300 million. And just as most other movies from the Pirates of the Caribbean series, this one was an instant box office success, making more than $350 million on its opening weekend, close to $1 billion in worldwide ticket sales, and solidifying the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise in the hearts of movie fans. Number 6. Justice League. Released in 2017, the Justice League movie is based on the Justice League comic book by DC Comics, and it tells the tales of 7 superheroes as they try to save and defend the Earth from evil powers. And since the Justice League features some of the most famous and iconic superheroes on screen today, the cast for this film was nothing short of impressive. Featuring Hollywood stars such as Henry Cavill, Jason Momoa, Ben Affleck, and Gal Gadot. And on top of an impressive cast, the Justice League movie also features some of the best directors and film producers in the industry, the most notable one being Joss Whedon, an Academy Award-winning film director with lots of experience directing superhero movies. Now, as you can probably tell, the Justice League was extremely expensive, having cost a whopping $300 million. However, to everybody's surprise, the movie was a complete bomb, having made no more than $650 million in worldwide ticket sales and earning extremely bad reviews from fans and critics. Now, critics say the film bombed because of a bad screenplay and an uncreative and confusing plot, while the cast attributes its failure to the fact that the promotional efforts of the movie were horrible. For instance, Superman, starred by Henry Cavill, didn't appear in any of the movie's promotional materials, not even in the trailer. And according to Henry Cavill himself, that was a stupid decision. Number 5. Titanic. Released in 1997, Titanic is a romance movie based on the real-life story of the sinking of the RMS Titanic that happened way back in 1912. This movie made its name in history because of its romantic and unforgettable scenes. However, making such a grandiose movie is not cheap by any means, and it boasts one of the most expensive and talented cast and production crew in the industry. For instance, the movie director is none other than James Cameron, who won the Academy Awards 21 times, and the star of the film is Leonardo DiCaprio, one of the best actors in history. What's more, Titanic pushed all of the boundaries of the movie industry at the time, including the special effects technologies used on the scenes and on the ship itself. All in all, this movie cost more than $320 million when adjusted for inflation to be produced, thus making it the most expensive movie ever at the time of its release. Now, most critics at the time said that Titanic would be a complete failure, but they couldn't be more wrong, since it broke all box office records at the time, having earned more than $2 billion in worldwide ticket sales, becoming the highest-grossing film of all time, and winning 11 Academy Awards. Truly impressive. Number 4. Avengers Infinity War. Released in 2018, The Avengers Infinity War is the third movie of the Avengers series, a movie franchise based on the Avengers comic by Marvel Comics. In the story, the Avengers are an incredible team of superheroes that got together to defend the Earth from invasion. And in this movie, they have to defend the Earth from Thanos, a creature with ungodly amounts of evil powers. Now, Avengers Infinity War is starred by a large cast of world-class Hollywood actors, such as Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, and Scarlett Johansson, just to name a few. What's more, Disney had to bring a superb team of directors, producers, and video editors in order to come up with the entire screenplay, action sequences, and special effects that are part of the movie. However, all of this talent and experience comes with a hefty price tag, and the movie cost more than $325 million to be produced. Thankfully, it was an instant success, breaking dozens of box office records as soon as it came out, making more than $2 billion in worldwide ticket sales, and even becoming the fourth highest-grossing film in history. And on top of being a massive financial success, fans and critics alike praised it as one of the best films they have ever seen. Heck, some critics even went on to say that the Avengers series is going to be the Star Wars of the 21st century. Number 3. Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame is the fourth and last film of the Avengers series, and it is actually a sequel of Avengers Infinity War. And as is usual with all Avengers films, it starred an impressive cast of Hollywood stars interpreting the iconic superheroes from Marvel. Now, this film was even more expensive than the last one because of its massive payroll. For instance, Scarlett Johansson, Chris Hemsworth, and Chris Evans all cashed in $15 million for their appearances, and Robert Downey Jr. made more than $75 million. All in all, the whole production ended up costing $356 million. As you can see, that's a lot of money. But since the last Avengers film was a major box office hit, the producers figured out that it was worth it. Turns out, they were right, because it broke all of its previous box office records, became the movie with the highest ever opening weekend, made close to $3 billion in worldwide ticket sales, and also became the highest grossing film ever at the time. And as is usual with films from the Avengers series, it won dozens of awards. But if you think that this Avengers movie is already expensive enough, wait until you see the next one. Number 2. Avengers Age of Ultron. And for the third time in a row, the Avengers series makes it into our list of the most expensive movies ever made. This time with The Age of Ultron, the second film of the Avengers series. This movie cost more than $365 million to be produced, and there are a few reasons why this happened. First, because it was filmed in 6 different countries, and travel costs for the entire production crew, cast, and equipment added up. What's more, the cast for this movie is even more impressive than the other ones, with even more Hollywood stars appearing on it. And on top of that, the film used all sorts of state-of-the-art visual effects for its crazy and intense action scenes. So as you can see, the producers spared no effort to come up with a blockbuster movie. And fortunately for all of those involved, it was also a major success, having made close to $400 million on its opening weekend, $1.5 billion in total worldwide ticket sales, and earning the respect and admiration of fans and critics alike. Number 1. Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides came out in 2011, and it is the fourth movie of the highly successful Pirates of the Caribbean series. This Pirates of the Caribbean movie once again starred a very expensive cast of first-class actors, such as Johnny Depp, Penelope Cruz, Ian McShane, and Jeffrey Rush, just to name a few. And on top of that, it is directed by none other than Rob Marshall, one of the best film directors in the world today, who has won more than 9 Academy Awards. Well, with such an expensive cast and production crew, no wonder this movie cost more than $379 million to be produced. For instance, most of the production costs were used to pay for the extraordinary cast, with Johnny Depp receiving a big $55 million check for his role as Jack Sparrow, and other stars also receiving tens of millions of dollars for their appearances. In fact, even Johnny himself admitted that he has been extremely overpaid, and at this point in his life, he doesn't even need that much money. Thankfully, the movie was a box office hit, having made more than $350 million on its opening weekend and more than $1 billion in worldwide ticket sales. However, even though it was a massive success when it comes to ticket sales, some critics say that this was the worst movie of the entire Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, and its hefty price tag is totally unjustified, while fans, on the other hand, have praised it as one of the best in the entire series. Well, I guess you just can't please everybody. Alright, and those were the top 10 most expensive movies ever made. As you can see, simply throwing money at a movie does not guarantee it'll be an instant success. After all, satisfying moviegoers and critics is an extremely hard task. Now, I want to hear from you. Which one of these movies did you like the most? Let me know in the comment section down below. And that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching, and until next time.